Welcome to another episode of the Weeb Retreat Podcast. We hope you enjoy your stay. We are the Weebs, your hosts. My name is James. This is Jerms. And today we have a lot to talk about, a lot of spicy stuff to talk about. How you doing, Jerms?
Doing good. A lot of spice leading up to this week's episode.
Yep. We got a great show for you guys today. Timestamps will be in the description as always. All right, let's get into the weekly roundup here. Boku No Hero Season 5, Episode 11. What'd you think of this one, Jerms?
It was, it's kind of what I expected, for better and for worse. Some of the things were improved from the manga that I remember were being a little weird, like, how all this kind of stuff was going down and with action and everything. Action makes so much more sense being fluid in anime than just in manga with just, little snippets there. So seeing some of the stuff happen and the like little things going on with like the double shot and all that kind of stuff was really cool to see. But not much other than that for me. It was some you saw him going using the whips and get a little bit of control on there. But other than that, not too much happened this episode. Other than other than that, really, for me. What do you think?
Is this the end of the arc?
Yeah, so all the fights are done, 1A, 1, whatever, so now
now we'll move on to another one?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I gotta ask. Yeah. We're moving on, right?
Yeah.
Thank God. I don't know, man. I know that you thought the that festival arc was like the slowest. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm watching this one weekly. I don't know what it is. Maybe the past season was really good and my expectations are just too high, but this was like the worst arc for me. Maybe if I marathoned it and I got it done in a day or some shit, like maybe it would be easier. But watching this weekly was tough. This week's was tough. Snooze fest. We had some Uraraka moments, which is good.
Yeah, but
I guess not much. This is like, I mean, she's like, how many episodes are we in? Like 90 something, and she likes Deku, and there's no advancement on that front. I mean, I know that this is canon, and you need to see it. And Deku is having his new abilities with All for One, One for All. I always get them confused. I always get that shit confused. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't feel like a good arc to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you can skip it, but if I ever rewatch Boku No Hero, maybe I would, find some clips and just try and skip all this batch of episodes as much as I can. But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. Am I being too harsh on it, Jerms?
No. Well, it's kind of hard. We're both kind of similar to the series, similar feeling of the series right now. Probably, someone that is completely also fresh. But since I'm so jaded from all the stuff in the future that we're going to be seeing, and some of the hype moments, it's like, oh, this isn't really much at all. And then now we're back here. Now it got me thinking back to like, how strong some of these other people's quirks were compared to like Deku, especially now that he has, eight other quirks, whatever. It's like, it's like these, like, all these, they have cool quirks and all, like the mushroom quirk is cool and all. And, the double hit impact is pretty cool and all. But like, if you're going against Deku, it's who can even stand against him, really? Maybe Todoroki. Maybe Bakugo, because they have, just skill and, good quirks, but not, with having so many different things and avenues to go through with Deku, it's just, what can really stop him,
That one character that was talking about the protagonist and side characters, which I thought was funny, he mentioned being a side character, and the three that he showed for the main characters were Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo, which is sad because I know you've been warning me about this for months, but I guess that's the direction it's going to go from now on. So, I don't know. Maybe this shouldn't be number one on the roundup. Hopefully, the next arc is better. I think you've told me the next one's better. Final thoughts for this week. I have nothing to say about it.
hyped that we're finally done here with this arc. So let's get on to the next one and get to that good shit.
Yeah, this is not 2007 anymore. I mean, we're in seasonal anime for a reason. You know, this stuff should be really sped up or something. I don't know, man. I know it's part of the manga. I know they have to adapt it, but yikes. Just hard to get through. Just hard to get through. I don't want to be watching this kind of shit at 90 some episodes. Like, this feels like a grind at this point. This doesn't feel like a delight. All right, let's get to a more delightful show, though. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, episode 9. We've been hyping this one up a lot. What'd you think of this week's episode?
Good shit as always. Good shit as always. I feel like there's always so many little things. It feels like episodes go on with each episode in the best way. Like,
Yeah.
Just like that one little beginning before the opening goes on. There's so much going on there. The little shadow boxing and stuff like that. Just nice little cute little moments there. It was nice.
Yep.
And then just the rest of the episode with all those little things going on. With like, oh, I'll pin him down, and she's like, no. I get to do him. He's like, they're like,
that's my man's. Yep.
It was so good. And her trying to find, they were like, oh, you're saying like you can hold back and all this stuff. Like, what can you do? And it's like, she's like, I know to hold back. And they're like, and how long it took for her to say that.
Coming up with excuses. Yep.
It's so good. Yeah. And all the other friends.
And it took her a while to say that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all the other friends are so like hilarious in the little moments as well. And then them sending, they're like, oh, where did your the Gairu girl? Where did she go? He's like, oh, we sent her to infiltrate the nerd group.
I thought that was so funny, dude. I laughed so hard when I saw that.
Yeah, it was so hilarious. And then next arc, man, what's happening? Oh, one of those nerds is a stalker. We gotta have you go on a date with her.
I'm glad that they put that all in one episode. I think that was a smart choice on their part. Yeah, so I think this is the worst episode of the season. I found it to be pretty slow.
Oh my god.
Still good though. Still fine. I feel like we just had like 4 or 5 that were like perfect episodes, and then we go into this, which is a little bit slower. So it's just a momentum thing for me. But it was still good. I think I probably like the first half more when when they're looking for his hentai. And he goes and grabs it and he hides it from them. I thought that was good, but if you have half the episode like that, I want the second half to be really good. And you had the stalking stuff. Honestly, the best part has to be that boxing in the beginning. I thought that was really cute. Shit, that was better than the Mayweather Paul fight we had this past weekend. I mean, that was much more fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, the second half, he pretends to go on a date. It seems like whatever her name is. By the way, all her friends looking real nice, real spicy. Love how they look. It seems like her friend is maybe catching on to him and Nagatoro liking him. Maybe. But actually, a slower episode for me, which is fine, I guess. We still got like 2 or 3 to go. So, but yeah. Anything else you want to add with this week's episode, Jerms?
Oh yeah, I have an Easter egg here. Easter egg. So the manga that he picked up, the spicy ecchi manga that he picked up, dude. When I saw that cover and I saw the name, I'm like, oh, I know what they're trying to say here. It's a manga series called Parallel Paradise, and that shit is spicy good stuff.
Okay. Is that a real manga?
It's a real manga. So
they were parodying off of it.
Yeah, they were parodying off it. And that's some real spicy stuff.
Kind of like the losers in the cafeteria. They were playing Switches, but again, you can't use like the official brand name, but like stuff like that, right? Yeah. So it was parodying a real manga that's out there.
Yeah, it's super spicy, tons of spicy scenes in that one there. So
I'm taking notes.
So that I was laughing a little bit inside, and I'm like, oh, I know that. I read that series. I know that spicy plot he'd be talking about. So
that's funny.
That's
really good then. That's a good little Easter egg.
So that's my little 2 cents throw in.
For me, it was slow. For me, it was probably the worst of the season. I think I've liked every other episode more than this one. But even though this is the worst of the series, still not a bad episode. Still pretty good. Still decent. So yeah, hopefully next couple weeks. I saw the teaser for next week's episode. That shit looked good. But yeah, hopefully next week's is a little bit better. Even though this is the worst, it's still good. That is how good Nagatoro has been for me. So, final thoughts on this week's episode, Jerms?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Hasn't let me down at all. It's been just like 9, 8. You know, this is when we're looking at 8 episode, not like a 9 or 10 in the other ones, but still a 7's pretty high in my book. So good times. Good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, out of 5, I'd give it like a 3. I was still entertained. The last couple weeks were just really good, you know? But
Yeah.
that's all. It's not a big deal. Still good. All right, let's get into this week's episode of Tokyo Revengers, episode 9. What'd you think of this week's episode, Jerms?
Whew, what a spicy one. What a spicy one. Lot of action going on there. You know, all these gangs and all the gangs coming up and seeing all these other characters for the other, like the leaders. I'm just gonna say like the guy that's like smiling a lot, and it's like, oh, I'm ready to fight, you know? It's like, oh, look at this, he's going ham. So it was really interesting seeing all these other like kind of important yet side characters that will probably be introduced from now on. Because, you know, we haven't seen them really much before, but I'd imagine from now on, this was like a really nice introduction to seeing how some of these characters are that we'll probably meet up now since Mikey is, you know, part of the gang. But seeing when our boy Mikey came up on that motorcycle, oh, so good, because you know it was just like the 3 of them, whatever, just sitting there like with the whole gang against them. They're like, oh, I'm like, oh fuck, how did they get themselves out of this one? And then Mikey shows up, and the gang, it's like, oh yeah.
I thought it was really good and well played by them to sort of hype up the scene and make it dramatic that everyone heard his exhaust, and you know he's driving through the rain, pulls up on his motorcycle. I mean, it was just totally badass, you know. And that's kind of how I would describe the episode as a whole, honestly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for this week's episode, we have Mobius versus Tomon. Basically an action episode, the whole thing, right? I mean,
kind of flew by for me.
Yeah, dude, it really. This episode was a quick episode. I was surprised when it was over. I was like, oh wow, that's it. For me, it was kind of mindless fun, you know, like it was a little boring, but the fighting was great. I mean, listen, I've kind of bagged on the show for the animation, but the animation for the fight scenes, they spent some of their money on that. They put some effort into that. Some of those fight scenes were very fluid, a lot better than a normal Tokyo Revengers episode. I mean, they looked really good at certain points. So yeah, good animation. You know, that was almost like the whole episode right there.
Mm-hmm.
Until that cliffhanger. That cliffhanger is when everything changes. And I was kind of lulled into autopilot with all the fighting, right? You know, just kind of fun, mindless fighting. And then bam, that big thing happens at the end. And it's like, oh shit, I'm awake. What happened? What? So we don't know if it's official, but it seems that even though Takemichi is trying to change this timeline, and he kind of did, ultimately the one thing he really needed to change, it looks like maybe it won't change, and that's Kiyomasa coming back and killing Draken. You see him leave and you see the knife is bloody. Again, very good foreshadowing with this episode, with the exhaust on the motorcycle, and then you see a bloody knife. You know, camera pans over to Draken, and homeboy got stabbed. So we don't know if he's dead.
I think he might be. I think he hopefully should.
He might be alive. Yeah, he might be alive.
I hope so.
But just the fact that this is the one thing Takemichi was supposed to prevent, and it's possible that he didn't prevent it. You know, that's a solid cliffhanger right there. That's a really good cliffhanger. So, yeah, I mean, the real takeaway from this episode is that cliffhanger. Would you agree? That's the real big takeaway this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely that's gonna have a lot of stuff going on with that next episode for sure. You know, probably Mikey, our boy, is gonna just try to like just drag him over to the motorcycle and go right to the hospital or something. I think, you know, him being there and looking for Draken is really gonna help him out here. Because I imagine if our homeboy wasn't there, Draken would have been stabbed, just laying on the ground. The fight's all over, and they're like, "Oh shit! Yeah. What happened to Draken?" And they're like, "Oh fuck, he's dead." So
Certainly.
so I think hopefully
Yeah.
our boy being there and looking for him actively will hopefully save our homeboy. I hope so. Hopefully he doesn't just like
Yeah.
give a little speech like,
Yeah, I agree.
Take care of Mikey for me, you know. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope he makes it through, but we'll see. It's gonna be real spicy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're on the edge of your seat because it's like, is the past going to change, or is destiny? Fate is fate. What's supposed to happen is going to happen, even in a parallel universe, a different universe. Same thing is still going to happen. You know, it's the classic time traveling trope. You know, they're using it well here. Um, One thing I did want to point out with this week's episode. So this is episode 9. Does not seem like we're coming to a close anytime soon. People are highly speculating that this will be 2 core. So, and will it be consecutive? Will it be split up? We don't know. But I think people have pointed out for the Blu-ray releases, you add them all up and it adds up to 24. So this may continue to 24. Again, we don't know if the cores will be split. If summer will be a break and maybe they'll do the second core in the fall. But I think it'll probably be consecutive. They'll probably keep going until they hit 24, and that'll be the first season. But yeah, that's just speculation. What are you thinking about that, Jerms? Because it's still not official on their end. I mean, if it was going to end at 11 or 12, you'd think, because all the other ones, you'd think by now that would be officially announced. They're coming up close to it, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So does that hype you up any more than you already were, or what do you think of that?
No, I was kind of feeling it's gonna be like 24. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
this isn't really a small series. You know, I've heard so much hype beforehand. So, you know, it's good. I know there's still a lot of material left. So, you know, hopefully it isn't. I think 24 will be good. I don't think there's no way it's gonna like be longer than that, I'd imagine. So hopefully,
No, it won't be a long running series. It'll be 1 core or 2 core at the most.
hmm.
And again, we don't know if it'll be consecutive, but people have looked at the Blu-ray releases for next year, and the episodes add up to 24. So yeah, that makes sense, and that would be why they haven't announced that it's going to end soon. So that would make sense.
Mhm.
All right, guys, what are you guys thinking of Tokyo Revengers? Highly popular series this season. Let us know down below. All right, let's continue here. 86, episode 9. What did you think of this week's episode of 86, Jerms?
Well, a lot of stuff happened here.
Tell me, what'd you think?
I don't really know how to feel about it. You know, it's hard. It's a hard thought here, because you know we saw the brother here, and now you know him. You know, and we finally got the end of that arc right here, and then you know, for me, it kind of dragged on the end there with just them leaving and all that kind of stuff. That's just kind of my feeling on that. But the question is, like, I was like finished. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I finished the episode. I'm like, okay, is the end of the series cool? Okay, cool. I'm like, wait a second, there's 2 episodes. I'm like, oh fuck.
No, there's 2 more.
I was like,
There's 2 more.
I was like, oh fuck.
All right, let me give a speech.
Oh,
I thought the CGI is fantastic. It's always been great for the series.
yeah.
I thought
I'd
it was
agree on that.
fantastic. I thought the second half of the episode was particularly dramatic, but I thought it was still a fantastic build-up. I think the dialogue for the series has been fantastic. You know, that one point where she's talking to so-and-so. Geez, I can't remember the name. I'm never good with the names, but you know, she kind of held it over her that Nozen, you know, the leader of her unit, was you know connected to her, and are you going to abandon him again? And she looks at Lena, the main character, and says, "You're a devil." And then Lena says, "We both are." Oh, that was such a good line. I don't know if your fan sub had that, but
yeah.
you know, because that's what the 86 call them, the devils, because they have like white hair or whatever. They're their own race of people. But even with all that, I think the production's great, opening's great, ending's great. I mean, if you're into this story, this probably was a masterpiece of an episode for you. It has all of the ingredients, but it's just not doing it for me.
Mhm.
I The story just hasn't hooked me in, and I can't say that there's anything bad about the series. There's just nothing that's really getting me super invested. I thought the brother fight, I thought was
Meh.
dramatic. We just didn't have that much of a build up to it. It honestly, when I watched it, I was like, did I skip an episode? Did I download the right shit? Because they kind of tease it at the end, and then you get into this episode, and it's like a full on war. It's like, oh shit! Like, did I miss a whole episode of action here? Like, how did we go from their meeting on the front lines to all this crazy shit? And I get it. I mean, it's not. It was just a quick, chaotic battle, but the series feels a little dramatic to me, and maybe the light novels are better because people swear that the light novels are really good.
It probably
listen,
is.
I think that they're doing I think that they're doing a fantastic job with this series. A1 Pictures, I think they're doing a great job, but it's just not personally resonating with me, and that sucks because I watched this and I'm like, if I was invested in this, if I like the series, this shit would be really good. But I'm just not hooked, At the end there, I was wondering, I was like, are they going to try and break into the Republic somehow? Like, where are they going? Are they going back to the their original place? But no, they're just wandering off almost to die, kind of. I mean, I don't know, man. We maybe it's the Legion factor in this. I mean, we don't know much about them. I don't feel like they're a real threat. They're just kind of enemies that show up. They're handling it good, but it's just not gripping me, Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like going to like a 5-star restaurant and someone just ordering you something. You're like, I kind of wanted something else, It's like, oh no, trust me, this is good. It's good. It's like it tastes good, and this is probably like top tier stuff, but it's just not for me,
It's not what I wanted. Yeah, it's just not for me. It's like going to a fancy restaurant, VIP parking, very, very nice. You got a very nice table, very nice waiter or waitress. The menu looks great. You order something, it comes out, it's presented beautifully. You're like, oh my God, it smells good. And then you take a bite and it's like, it's good, but it just doesn't resonate with my taste buds. You know what I mean? It's like, it has all the ingredients. The production's great. The animation's great. Even the CGI is great. Fight scene's great. The music, oh my gosh, the music's great. Openings, endings, great. It has everything. It's just not, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm missing. Maybe I'm not understanding the story completely. Maybe the characters just don't resonate with me. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking to another friend of mine who's watching. It's just like I started seeing the holes in the story. I'm like, fuck, I didn't want to it's like starting explaining how sausage is made. It's like, fuck, why did you tell me this?
I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know all that.
Yeah, so he was like, oh, what about this? And it's like, oh shit, that makes sense. Like, wait, why isn't no one talking? Like, I don't know about this. Like, oh fuck, that also is like important. That's not being. It's like I'm starting to see how the sausage is made here, and I'm just like, fuck, like this is good, but like, I don't know. It's just not good for me. I can't look past that and just see it for what it is.
And I really like Lena's character, which helps, right? Because she's the main character. But I thought that the unit was gonna somehow break into the walls or break into the Republic somehow or something crazy, right? Like she can meet them, or because she took off running, and it's like, where is she running to? Like, is she gonna try and meet them? Like, why is she running right now? But she was just, I guess, running for dramatic effect. I mean, I don't know. Again, it was a great scene, but the story just isn't doing it for me. I don't know. I know people are going to think we're crazy, like, oh my gosh, the series is so good. How can these two weebs not like it? It's just not doing it for me. I don't know, man. It's just not doing it. Final thoughts for this week's episode of 86 Germs. I thought it was probably the best episode so far, but again, I'm just not invested. It's just not because you can write the best story, write the best characters, but it has to connect with the reader or the viewer on a personal note, and it's just not, that personal element isn't happening with me, So final thoughts for this week's episode of 86 Germs.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with these next two episodes. Maybe it's going to be Sam out in the wild, what they be doing, what Lena be doing, maybe a time skip or some shit. But it's like only 2 episodes left. Like I feel like this should have been the last episode. Just leave it on a hook and then bam. But it's like
it should have. It feels like it. I thought she was going to meet them and they were going to bust in or something. I don't know. She was going to go out to the battlefield and meet them. I didn't. as I was watching it, I'm like, this is such a great scene. Like she's running, like maybe she's gonna try and stop them, but no, she just kind of breaks down. I don't know where she was running to. I mean, again, if they did it a little bit better, maybe I'd be invested, but it's just not doing it for me. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's and it sucks too because I want to love the series. We don't, we here at the Weeb Retreat, we don't want to go into a series hating it. Like this is our hobby. We love anime. Like we want to go in enjoying these series, especially if everyone else is, because bam, now we got a big community of people online in person to talk to about it, and I can speak for myself. It's just not resonating for me. So yeah, again, beautiful episode, great episode. I'm just not attached to the story. I'm just not invested. And 9 episodes in, only 2 to go. It's not going to hook me by the end of the season.
Mhm.
That point where it needed to do that is already passing. So, what did you guys think of this week's episode of 86? Are we crazy? Are we out of our minds? Comment down below. Are you enjoying it and we're just missing something? Let us know if we're missing something. I bet we are. Maybe we're just not thinking of it. All right, let's get on here. Final show for this week's weekly roundup. Nomad, Megalo Box Season 2, Episode 10. We're nearing the end of this season of Megalo Box. What did you think of this week's episode, Jerms?
Oh, it was pretty some interesting stuff going on here. A little spice at the end there with against our boy versus Sachio. Just
Yep.
and showing him how it actually works. Show that all his skill that he's built up. But it was a lot of little things going on, as always. A little bit more on Joe,
Yeah.
luckily, this time. A little bit more go towards our boy. So hopefully it continues on that kind of route. But overall, pretty good. I'm still not super hooked. I'm not super excited for this, Mac versus our boy, our
Joe. Yeah.
Joe fight. I'm not super excited. I don't really feel the hype like we used to do with him versus Yuri. There's no.
Yep.
I don't really feel like there's any much
I'd
stakes.
agree.
There's no stakes really. That's the main thing for me. Like I guess bringing back his family or bringing back the family he used to have, minus our boy, rest in peace, Nambu. But I'm not really feeling like there's stakes or the hype or because original it's it's the first Megalonia and it's oh, Joe is gearless, this is crazy, but it's not our boy, our Joe fighting gearless against Sachio, show him put him in give him a lesson,
Put him in his place.
It's okay, yeah, we knew that our boy Joe still got it, he still got it. We saw him go against no, what's his name,
Yuri.
no, the other, his disciple.
Lou.
Yeah, when we saw him go into Lou, we was okay, Joe isn't at his peak right now, but he's doing pretty good stuff. He still has it in him. He still has the fire. So
He still has the fire. Yep.
So I wish it was. I just don't know. I don't really feel the stakes. I don't really feel the hype.
Let me say something. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you're not hyped, bro. I'm surprised. I thought this week's episode did what it needed to do, and it got us right. It got us back on track. So Joe versus Mac is officially on. Joe kind of got his blessing from Lou. We see that Yuri's kind of against it, but Joe says, "I fight for me. I don't fight for anyone else." Sachio, being that the annoying little shit he is, finally gets put in his place. That alone, I'm like, good episode. Good episode. They make up at the end. You see a little bit of internal conflict with the manufacturers of Mac's, gear. Again, is it the greatest episode? No. But I thought there were hype moments in here. I'm surprised that you didn't really like it. When Joe visited Nambu's grave and it had that, the classic Megalo Box theme playing in the background, and he's talking about getting back what he lost. I thought that was so good. And then at the end there with Sachio, good fight scenes. I like how they made up at the end. For me, is it the best episode? No, but it puts us back on track. Remember, we still have 3 episodes. Yeah, the fight between Joe and Mac, it doesn't feel like there's a lot at stake. I'll give you that, and I agree with that. But we still have 2 episodes and then a final episodes to build up to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they might not have a personal beef, but maybe we'll learn more of Joe's motivation and maybe Mac's motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's going to be as good as Joe versus Yuri in the finale of the first season, but at least we're on board. You know what I mean?
I see.
I feel like we were drifting away, and now we're coming back to sea. You know, coming back to land. Like we're on the right track. And there was like 2 moments where the classic Megalo theme kicked in, and I was like, hyped. I'm hyped. Not super hyped. I'm not super sold. I want to see more character stuff that builds up this fight and makes this fight larger than life for sure. And we still have 3 episodes for that. But it's just good to see that, you know, we're on track. We're gonna get a finale. We're gonna get a banger of a fight at the end. So I'm surprised you're not as hyped as I am.
Mhm. That's interesting to see. I had a different take on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is true. We're coming back to see. We're seeing, you know, the themes and the kind of moments we wanted to see. So, you know, we saw 3 episodes. Like, I remember Megalonia back in the original series was like only like a few episodes more. So I guess I can see where you're coming from here, but we'll see. We'll see how the next 3 episodes go here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I thought it was certainly better than the last 2 weeks of episodes. Again, it's just it did what it needed to do. Sachio's no longer going to be a little bitch. Joe's
Hopefully.
going to start training. I mean, it just I have no complaints with it. I mean, it's the show is going to give me what I want. It took a little while to get here. This all could have happened 2 episodes ago, I feel like. But and yes, they do have to develop why this last fight's going to be important, you know? Why is it important to Joe? Why is it important to
Mac.
Jim Nowhere? Why is it important to Mac? Why is it important to the company? We're going to see more politics behind it for sure. We still got 3 to go, but yeah, I mean the episode it gave me what I want, you know? It could have been done sooner, but at least it's doing it now. Now the real test is how are they going to end the series, you know? Are we going to get some badass training with Joe and see him, you know, try to recapture the passion he once had, you know? We'll have to see. 3 episodes to go. At least it's not 2. At least we have somewhat of a cushion here, you know? So
Mhm.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you're not as hyped as I am. But hey, we can both agree it's going to be better than that Mayweather Logan Paul fight this past weekend. Anything will be better than that.
Sachio's fights were better than that.
I know. Hey, but can you at least be happy that Sachio's no longer going to be a little bitch now?
Yeah, let's hopefully.
Again, it was
get
dragged
this.
out. It was dragged out. He was annoying us, but at least we're not going to have that shit anymore. You know what I mean? At least, hopefully he's done being a little bitch now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, final thoughts for this week's episode, Jerms?
Yeah, it's been better than the last few, but for me, I'm not super hyped at the moment. I can see a little bit of hype. Seeing how the end of Joe's story goes here. I'd imagine there's not gonna be a 3rd season, but we'll see. Me, I hope so. Not. I just hope it ends here, and he becomes a trainer or something or whatever. So but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how these 3
Yeah.
episodes hold up here. How they want to end it here, if they do end it. But I'm interested to see. The setup's all here.
Yeah, it's not popular. I highly doubt. I mean, of course it's popular, but it's not doing the studio a lot of justice. I mean, we think it's a little hidden gem, but not a lot. Not, it's not the biggest anime out there. I doubt there's a 3rd season. Again, not sold. I still need more convincing too, but we got 3 episodes. That's, I think we're going to get into gear here pretty quickly. All right, so that is the conclusion of this week's weekly roundup. Before we move on to this week's spicy discussion, we're going to choose our episode of the week, the winner of the week. What is your winner for this week, Jerms?
This is it's a bit of a hard one. There's no single episode that got me like super hyped. There was no top tier episode for me this week. They're all kind of slower episodes. There's still like a few episodes left for a lot of these series, so we're about to start getting to the last little arc here. So it's probably a little slow for that reason. But if I had to pick a best episode of the week, you already know what it. You know what it is. I just enjoy
Tell the people.
Like if I could pick another show, I'd pick something else probably. But from these 5, Nagatoro, absolutely fantastic as always. Not top tier as the last few were, and as spicy as the other ones were. But compared to the others, Tokyo Revengers had some good stuff, but it kind of was just the one fight, and some
Yeah.
cool moments. There were
Yeah.
definitely some cool moments, but just the enjoyment and just like wishing the episode continued, like was longer every week. Nagatoro, baby, you know what it be. But what do you
Yep.
think? I think this one's probably gonna be we're gonna have a difference opinion here. What do you think?
We definitely are. We definitely are. It's very close between two for me. It's going to be very close between Tokyo Revengers and Megalo Box, but just because it gave me what I personally wanted, I'm going to give it to Megalo Box. But again, they're neck and neck because that Tokyo Revengers cliffhanger was so good. And I think they really did step up the animation for this week's episode. Again, it was great. The fight scenes were great. A lot of great stuff with Tokyo Revengers, but I'm just going to give it to Megalo Box. We have the fight announced. We have Sachio on board. We know that Joe is going to get into shape, and it's just leading up to a finale that we all kind of want. So I'm just going to give it to Megalo Box. I think first week we're disagreeing here, so that's interesting.
Probably the first of many in the future, but it took us 10 weeks,
Yeah.
whatever, to get to get a difference of opinion for once.
I know. Guys and gals, weebs out there, let us know down below what was your episode of the week. Which show are you guys really enjoying? Doesn't have to be from these 5 that we're covering. Just let us know. And yeah, that is going to be our weekly roundup. Now we're going to get into the weekly discussion here. Spicy stuff, Jerms. Spicy stuff. This week, what is the Weeb Retreat talking about? We're going to be talking about waifus. Waifus. You can't escape it if you're part of the anime fandom, part of the Weeb fandom. First, we're going to talk about what the hell is a waifu. I didn't know when I first started watching. I bet when I first started watching anime, they didn't even really have waifus back then. I mean, maybe, but it's not as popular of a term as it is now. So we're going to talk about what the hell is a waifu, what makes a waifu for us personally. Then we are going to reveal our personal waifus. Yes, we have a list, a 3x3 of our own waifus here. We're going to display them. You guys can see them as well. And we're going to commentate on each other's. We're going to guess each other's before we reveal them. And so, yeah, but first things first, what is a waifu to us? How do we choose our 3x3? Let's just get some definitions straight in the beginning. So yeah, what counts as waifu territory for you, Jerms?
The waifu for life, for me is hotness and sexiness is
Yes.
it's an important factor there. But then for me, I had that little extra restriction because I've seen so many waifus. There's so many hot characters. Yeah. It's thousands, not even hundreds, thousands,
tons. Yeah.
So for me, that what makes them not just from like sexy and hot to a waifu was just like if they were my wife, would I be happy? Would I be a happy man? Or at least
shit, I did not consider that at all.
Well, I got thousands to choose from. You don't have as many as the Madland like me. So that's my extra little restriction there. Sometimes there might be some exceptions there, but they might just be so hot that it doesn't even matter if what they're. But the personality and their character and what they've done in the story. That's more important for me because there's so many hot characters. You can pick a hair color, hair color, hair color type, and you can have like 1,000 of them, be generated. But the story and who they are in the series and their actual personalities are what's important to me here. And also, if they're hot too, that also helps out. But
for my list, have to be hot. I didn't consider them actually being my wife. Shit, that's just borderline crazy, creepy, weird. But
what's up?
There's too many hot ones to put just for 9. So I did think about their personalities. Like, did I actually enjoy this character? And if you can't think of their name, then they didn't leave a good enough impression on you, and so they shouldn't be on your 3x3. So for all my whole 3x3, I knew their names. It's not like it's I had to go searching for them. Like, oh, who was this character? What was she like? No, I remember she was hot, and I liked her presence in the show that I watched her in. We do have one restriction. only one per series, right? Like we don't have two per series on here.
I wish.
Reason we have that restriction is because I know for a fact my 3x3 would be like literally 2 shows. 2 shows with like a couple sprinkled in. We thought that that'd give you guys a little bit more of a variety. I know for a fact, because did you add in anime and manga? Because you could have. I mean, I don't really care, but
Yeah.
did you add in like manga characters as well? Yeah. So you just have a much larger pool to go through with me than I do. So I know for a fact yours, and I know that you have different tastes than me. So yours is going to be much more dedicated fan. Mine's going to be more normie. Mine's going to be more vanilla, I assume. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this. I'm excited to see what the waifus are.
Mhm.
So, all right.
I
Shall
got
we
a
get
coin
into it?
here.
Yeah,
So
I'll take tails.
tails.
Tails. Flip it.
Tails.
Shit. Does that mean I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
No, I win. I want to go second. All right. We'll do mine first. Mine's so normie. Yeah. You want to take a guess at who's on my 3x3?
I already know one. When you said your waifus, I already knew this was a guarantee. Faye Valentine.
Okay. That's a good guess.
Fuck.
That's a good guess.
Fuck.
I thought you were gonna guess someone that
Okay, well,
was different, but that's a good guess.
Botan?
That's a good guess.
Botan.
What's up?
Botan.
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 You know, I love me some Botan. She was not hot enough to make the list, but she is right there. She's right there.
I'm 0 for 2 right now. Fuck. Fuck.
Well, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I confirmed Botan. I'll be honest about Botan, but I will not be honest about the other one.
Trying to think of anything else really. You never bring. Okay. Oh, easy one. Come on. Look behind you, Mr. James.
Where behind me? Right here. Yep.
Rem.
Yep.
That's my third guess there.
She probably won't be on your list.
Oh yeah. I think those 3 guesses are good. I don't want to guess all the rest of them.
Solid guesses. Solid guesses. I'll say Botan's not, but was considered. All right, and then so we'll show the 3x3. I will say the names and the series of all of them. So.
Oh shit! Oh.
Checking the chat. All right, so let me announce these. We're gonna go top left, down, right and then down. So Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann, Revy from Black Lagoon.
I should have seen it.
Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop, Rangiku Matsumoto from Bleach, Best Girl Rem from ReZero. We have Kazahana from Sekirei. We have Misato from Evangelion, Nami from One Piece, and Junko from Desert Punk. So that is my 3x3. What's your first impressions of my 3x3 Jerms?
Well, I was completely not expecting Nami on there, but I have a similar kind of pick in not with Nami with the series I haven't even seen before where I have them, but I was not expecting Nami at all. I
think Nami's one of the hottest characters in all of anime, and from what I've seen of One Piece, I like her personality too. So it's like easy, like probably top 3. Nami is like easily top 3. Like,
and you haven't even seen One Piece yet. Wait till you see One Piece, Mr. James.
I'll probably like her more.
But
yeah, what surprises you and what doesn't surprise you? So you guessed Faye.
Mm-hmm.
You guessed Rem. By the way, another thing I thought of is like, would I buy a figure or a figurine of these people?
Oh, yeah.
And like I would all of them.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
And here's my
What's the center?
the camera.
Yeah, there it is. No, move it towards your head.
Where's my head?
Yeah.
Even then it's kind of still a little bit too bright, but that's all you need to see right there. There's my Rem figure, Best Girl Rem. I looked. She is over 18. I looked it up. I looked. I'm not getting caught for shit. Yeah. What are you surprised by? You surprised by anything?
Well, I'm surprised yet not surprised by Yoko there, because
Yoko.
But she
Okay,
is hot as fuck,
Yoko was
though.
the
Not
ninth.
wrong. Not wrong.
Yoko is the ninth. Okay, so the other 8 were locks. I I wrote a list. I'm like, okay, I have 8. Who's the ninth? Yoko is the ninth. That I was like, okay, she's not like S tier. She's like A plus tier, but she wasn't like S tier. So like all the other 8 are like solid locks for me. Solid.
You should have had her MILF version in that picture, Mr. James. That should have been.
I went for the basic one that she's in for most of the series, but yes, the MILF version was considered the show. Yes.
I'm surprised about the Bleach pick here. A little surprise, but
I love Rangiku. I love her. You know what's funny is Rangiku and Kazuhana, the far right in the center, they're pretty similar. Kazuhana also is like, you know, the older woman, big tits, and like drinks and like wants to have fun, like that kind of personality. So they're almost like I bet people looking at this are like, you put like 2 of the same character on here, and I kind of did, but hey, I have no regrets about this list. Those 8 were like solid for me. So
real surprising. I have no idea about the bottom. I know that middle right one. I've seen some, but that bottom right, I don't even know who the fuck that is. That's the one I don't know who the fuck. You're probably
middle right. Yeah, middle right is Kazuhana that I was just talking about.
No, bottom right.
And bottom right is Junko from Desert Punk. You know, it's funny.
Is that one comedy thing?
It's a comedy. You know, she is also kind of like Rangiku and Kazuhana because she's a bandit who like teases the MC with her tits and stuff like that. Like she's kind of like eggs him on and tries to get things with her looks. So a lot of these characters are like fun female characters, you know? Like they're not afraid to use their looks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's that theme. There's another theme in here. I don't know if you can pick up on it. I picked these pictures for a reason.
I think me and you are gonna have totally different taste here.
I think we'll have totally different 3x3. Is this as normie as you thought it would be? Is my 3x3 as normie as you thought?
No. Like obviously like something like Yoko and Faye and Nami and Rem, but these other choices are totally especially our girl Revi.
Yeah,
so
Revi.
badass. So badass.
Not only badass, but hot. She's a queen. Like I said, all of them were locks except Yoko. Like I love all of them. You know, Faye, classic. You know, just the classic bounty hunter with good looks. Misato. I know everyone's hyped up about the other chicks, Asuka, and you know, but no, I thought Misato was the hottest in Evangelion, and I really liked her dub voice too. That dub voice made her even hotter. So, and then Rem, she's 18. Again, looks and personality. She does not have the biggest breast as these other women do, but she has more than Ram, you know. So, you know, and I have the figure of her, and yeah, she makes the list as well. She makes the list.
I'm surprised you're not surprised. So that's the spice right there, Mr. James. That's the spice.
Yep. Again, a lot of mine is hot, but I do like their personality somewhat. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that is my 3x3. Let me guess some of yours. Let me guess by series.
Yeah.
There's so many damn names out there.
You have to do by series because I have like 400 plus shows now. So yeah,
certainly Infinite Stratos.
Yep.
Certainly Trinity 7.
Yep.
Air Gear.
Yep.
Pink hair chick. I think she's pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
Those will be my 3. You did 3. I can't really think of any others, but those will be my 3. I'm sure you'll pull up your list and I'll be like, oh shit, I should have guessed that. But I'll go with those 3.
Okay.
I bet it's gonna be way different than mine. And remember, you'll show it and then give me the names and the series that they're from. Yep.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Upload. Now, did you expect this, Mr. James?
Wow, you put Fubuki on here? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was the one I was most surprised. The most one that you're surprised. Dude, I
almost put Lisa. I almost put Lisa on my instead of Yoko. I almost put Lisa from Trinity 7 on mine. Yeah, you want to announce some Jerms?
Yeah. So we have Eris from Jobless. We have Reina from fuck the uh
You don't
sumo
even
wrestling.
know.
Sumo wrestling. I know her name because
Okay. Yeah.
we have Hanakawa from Monogatari, Fubuki from One Punch Man, Simka from Air Gear, Lizaret from Trinity 7, Yun Yun from Konosuba, Roxanne from it's a manga. I forget the exact name is.
What is it?
I don't remember the name of the series, but I love her character so much. It doesn't the series name doesn't matter. And then obviously Sora Shigi from Infinite Stratos Baby. Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this list surprises me a little bit, but almost doesn't surprise me. I think you have really good taste, Jerms. I was expecting a bunch of underage flat-chested chicks, but you got good taste.
Whoa, wrong person here. I think you're the wrong person.
No. I know you have good taste. I just thought that you would make like a different list than me, right? Because you might have had different. Like I wanted all the hot ones, but you might have been like, no, like these are because when you said like I could wife them up, like okay, like that's just different than having a hot chick. But
no,
but you're gonna put.
I get the best of both worlds, Mr. James.
You do. You're gonna put Eris on here instead of Beast Girl, whatever the hell her name is.
Well, I put this picture of Eris here. This is because I'm a manga reader,
like time skip or something.
I'm a manga reader here, Mr. James. I'm from the future.
Sure, but man, that beast chick has big ass titties. That's
she does, but she got big ass titties, but she's not a wife. She's not a wife.
True. And Eris has that fiery personality. The one on the top right, that's from the Monogatari franchise.
Yep.
Not a surprise. So Fubuki sucked in season 2 of One Punch Man, but again, if you look at the manga, she's probably bigger tits and
ultimate wife material.
Great in the manga.
Ultimate wife material.
Yeah, she's probably great in the manga. Middle is
Air Gear.
Air Gear. That shit makes me. Does she wear that in Air Gear?
No, this is the this is the final panel of the series.
Okay. Okay, well that makes me more hyped to watch it. Lise from
Trinity 7 baby.
From Trinity 7. I highly considered her. Her and Yoko were neck and neck. You got one from Konosuba in here. So that's
Union's always been my number one. All the other girls, they're hot, but Union, you got to protect her and make wife right. That's wife material right there. And then Roxanne, this is the one from the only one manga only currently. I hope it becomes not a manga, but ultimate wife material.
So it does not have an anime?
It does not have an anime yet. Unfortunately, it makes me real sad. But ultimate wife material, not even a question. When I was thinking of like my top waifus, I was like, oh, Roxanne, not even a question. Not even a question in my mind. If you're a reader of the series, if you're a connoisseur, then this was an easy. You already agree with me here.
It sucks that we can't even name the series for people to go look it up. But yeah, this looks like a solid list. Bottom right, which is IS. I don't know how hot she is, but it's one of your favorite series, so I understand why it's on there. Yeah, spicy list. I figured that we also guessed number 1 on the list, but I think you already told me. Your number 1 is was it Union that you said?
Union? No, not as number one. Number one.
Who's your number 1 waifu, Jerms? Who's your number 1?
Oh, come on, you can't put me in a spot like that, Mr. James.
I could tell you who my number 1 is, but you tell me who your number 1 is from this list.
If I had to pick one waifu for life, it would probably be Roxanne. But then next would probably Sarashiki. That would probably be my second there. But Roxanne, if you're I'm looking on the side here to see what her series is, but
even more than Simka? Even more than Simka?
Oh yeah. Like she's ultimate waifu. Oh, and also Reina's from Hinamaru Sumo. That's what it was. That's the name of the series there for those interested. Yep. But all waifus, all good characters in my eyes. If I'll fight you if you say otherwise.
I think I found your chick. Is it Isekai Meikyo Deheramwo? It doesn't say what the English name is, unfortunately.
It's an
But,
isekai, so I'm just gonna assume. So I'm trying to look here as well.
I looked it up on Mal. I'll put a link in the chat so you can see. Might be this chick. Fortunately, it doesn't have a English name for us to go off of.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is the good stuff right here. It's
Yeah, that's the one.
mm-hmm.
Cool. You want to guess who my number one waifu is?
Fuck.
I don't think you'll guess it, but go for it.
Fuck. That makes it even harder. Well, if I just go off of knowing Mr. James for all these years, I'll just go Revy. That's just my.
Revy is my favorite female character on this list. You're taking it to the whole account.
I know.
I think Revy and Rock really make Black Lagoon. Like they are the center of the show. But she's not my number one waifu. I think it'll surprise you. You want to take another crack at it? You got it. You got 8 left, Jerms. Take another crack at it. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" when you hear it. You're gonna be like, "I did not expect that."
Bleach.
Yeah. Damn, that was quick. Thought I was gonna grill you. Rangiku is my number one waifu. Number one. I think, you know what's funny? I think of the big three, I think Bleach and One Piece have fantastic women. And then you have Naruto and like, you know, there's no real spice there. I mean, there's Tsunade.
The fuck? I would say what the fuck? I'm like,
whatever.
Tsunade is on like because I have like a list of 40 characters I had to go through, and Tsunade was one of them easily.
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying, but that's like one. If you look at Bleach, you have like,
oh yeah,
you have Rangiku, you have Yoroichi, you got Orihime, you got a bunch of other big-titted chicks. With you look at One Piece, you have Nami, you have Robin, you have, I mean, again,
Infinite.
It's just like, of the big three, 2 of them have like, all the women are great. And then you have Naruto, and it's like, you know, not as much. And those are the 2 series that I alluded to. Like, if we could have an infinite amount per series, like my list would be filled with Bleach and One Piece. No doubt about it.
And you haven't even read them yet. That's the funny part. That's the funny.
Know. Well, I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'll finish Bleach's anime. I don't think I'll read it, but One Piece I'll have to read. But yeah, yeah.
Spicy. I got a little extra spice to throw into you. Are you ready for this one here? So I got a side hose one over here, Mr. James. My
god!
I had like 40, Mr. James. You can't blame me.
I know.
I know. I was thinking, I'm like, there's no way I can't throw them onto here. So here's the side. Now these are like maybe one of them you're going to get here, Mr. James, because I went off of just manga really. This is mostly just manga here, Mr. James. So we got Stella from.
There's 3 I recognize. There's 3 of them.
Go ahead. Chivalry of a Failed Knight for Stella. Ayako from Musumu Telepathy. Claire from Claymore. Fubuki from Grisaria. Kurumu from Rosario Vampire. Kyoko from I forgot her name. The series is sorry, Kyoko. Nana from Plunderer. Sangarine from Hell's Paradise, and Sicily from fuck. These are your next 9. Yeah, these will probably be
right
my
outside
next
your 9. These are like the next 9.
Top tier characters here. You can see
top 18
right here.
Yeah, I recognized Claire, Nana, and Stella. Yeah, Claire is hot as hell. I could definitely see that. Yeah,
and all these other characters are such top tier waifus here as well. Nana, especially top tier wife. Oh, I guess Stella. All of them are. They wouldn't be on here if they weren't. They wouldn't even be here.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even be here. And then I just have one little side one here. This is a super side one. This is just games. Because I play so many games. I was like, oh, let me make one just for little games here. And one of these will have a game I didn't even played before, but as a child.
Shit, I could have done that, but go ahead. I
Tifa, right there. Tifa and Cammy. I was like, ever since, you know, as a growing young boy, they've been the waifus and Dark Magician Girl.
You should have told me about games. I would have made a games one. Yeah, dude. Tifa makes it. Cammy makes it. Yeah.
Dark Magician Girl. That's not even those 3 aren't even question. My childhood. I think they're the fundamentals here, Mr. James. They're the OGs, really. You know, also Tsunade would be thrown in here, but this is the games one. But Kami,
read them by
Kami-
series. Read them by series for me.
Yeah, so Kami, Street Fighter, Dark Magician Girl Yu-Gi-Oh!, Mona from Genshin Impact, Lily from Kadoba Shoujo, 2B from Nier Automata, Riza from Atelier Rize, Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, Adago from Azure Lane, and then 5-7 from Girls Frontline. See, like I know these waifus like the back of my hand in this series, Mr. James. This is what I've been growing up on. You know,
Tifa was a good choice. Tifa was a good choice.
Tifa's like I picked that picture specifically because Tifa's always been a waifu. I didn't have an PS. I didn't have a PlayStation, Mr. James, but Tifa's always been a waifu.
I would have had like, because I'm a big fighting game fan. Like 4 of them would have been from fighting games. Like I have so many, dude. Like Ivy from Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah.
Or like
what's the girl
like anyone from the Dead or Alive series? Like they're all hot as hell.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Man, I should have done one for games. You springing this up on me. I would have had one ready.
Who's the one chick?
Yeah, good list.
Who's this one chick that's always like bending down with a super huge rack with like the red?
Mai from
the classic. You never go wrong with Mai.
Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mai would have been on that list. Chun-Li would have been on that list. Dude, I could have done one just from fighting games.
Yeah, you just did it right there. The fans. I'll throw them on the screen for you, Mr. James. You made your own.
Throw them on the screen for me. I wish I could have made a 9x9 for a 3x3 for video games as well. But yeah, good. I mean, even that's a solid list too. Yeah, the only one that I look back at your list and I'm like, damn, you really put that on there. Eris, but yeah, again, a time skip. I'm just not used to seeing her in the time skip, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's not as much of a hothead in the time skip, you know? Because in what we've seen anime-wise, oh shit. She has a lot to handle. But you know, the crazy ones are usually the hot ones, so I understand.
So yeah, that's my spice thrown in there, and it's pretty funny when I was going through all these characters. Like I was like, there's the most recent character really of all these is probably like Mona or Rize from the past year for me. Like all these other ones have just been waifus since for so long. It wasn't even a question when I was thinking about them.
I'm surprised you didn't do anything, any of them from Fairy Tail. Those chicks are hot.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, I haven't read enough Fairy Tail.
There's so many. Yeah.
But
yeah, mine's a little normie and vanilla compared to yours, but that's to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
That's to be expected.
But yeah, that's the spicy 27 I got there.
All right, guys, that is our waifus. That is our discussion of the week. Our personal 3x3 waifus. What are your waifus? We would love to know. We would love to do some research and look them up for
research
show purposes. Yeah, good. That was a good show. That was fun to see. That was, I feel like when you show someone your waifus or hentai or shit like that, like you become closer to them, you know? I feel closer to you, Jerms, now. So yeah. All right, Weebs, we hope you enjoyed your stay. Make sure to hit that thumbs up if you did. Subscribe. We'd really appreciate it if you checked out this content, made it to the end. If you made it to the end, you probably already are, but we'd really appreciate it if you did. We know a lot of you watching are not. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, give us a follow there. And yeah, any final thoughts about waifus or just this week in general, Jerms?
There's too many of them. Too many of them, Mr. James.
Final thoughts for this week. There's too many waifus out there. All right, Weeb's out. We will see you guys next week. Peace.